Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a huge idea in economics, something that literally sets the price for everything you buy. Yep, from your coffee in the morning all the way to your favorite comic book. So, you ever look at something, say your favorite comic book, and wonder why the price just isn't the same all the time? Yeah, I bought this issue last week for one price, and now it's totally different. What is going on? That is a fantastic question. And believe it or not, the answer comes down to one really powerful idea in economics: supply. So let's dive in and figure this out. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. Put simply, it's just how much of a thing is out there for sale. But, and this is important, there are a couple of key details in that definition we really need to unpack. First off, it's about what businesses offer for sale, not what they actually end up selling. Big difference. Second, a company has to be both willing to sell something and actually have the ability to make it or get it. You can't supply something you don't have, right? And finally, supply is a flow. We measure it over time, like how many comics the shop gets per week. So it's not just a snapshot, it's a continuous thing. All right, I think I get it. Supply is how much a producer is willing and able to sell. But what makes that number change? Like, why more this week and less next week? Ah, perfect question. That leads us straight to a core rule in economics, the law of supply. Basically, it all boils down to this. Producers are in it to make a profit, right? So if the price of their product goes up, they have a much bigger incentive to make and sell more of it. It's just common sense. Higher prices can mean higher profits, and that's exactly what businesses are looking for. Oh, for sure. If I'm running the comic book shop and I see I can get 5 rupees for a comic instead of just one, you better believe I'm calling my supplier and ordering a whole lot more. And you can see that exact idea right here in the schedule. Look at how the number of comics supplied skyrockets from just 5 to 65 as that price goes up. And this direct relationship is so cool because it creates a clear picture. If you were to take these numbers and plot them on a graph, you'd get what we call a supply curve. And because of this relationship, it's always going to slope upwards. It's a simple rule. The higher the price, the higher the quantity they're willing to supply. Okay. So higher price means more supply. Simple enough. But is that it? Is price the only thing that ever changes supply? Not even close. And this is where it gets really interesting. Sometimes things that have nothing to do with the price can change the entire supply picture. We call that a shift in the curve. And you've got to get the difference between a movement and a shift. Think of the curve as a road. A change in the comic's price just moves you up or down that same road. But a change in some other factor, that picks up the entire road and moves it to a new location, either to the left or to the right. It's a fundamental change in the whole supply situation. So what kind of things can move the whole road? Well, a bunch of stuff, actually. We call them the determinants of supply. We're going to zoom in on a couple of the really big ones like production costs and technology, but just know all of these things on this list can have a massive impact. Yeah, the cost of production is a huge one. Let's say the price of paper, the stuff comics are printed on, suddenly doubles. Ouch. Now it costs way more to make each comic. Well, producers can't make as many for the same budget, so what happens? They supply less, no matter what the price is. The whole curve shifts to the left. On the flip side, technology is a total game changer. Imagine the comic book printer gets a brand new super fast printing press. It churns out comics twice as fast and uses way less ink. What does that do? It slashes production costs. Suddenly, it's cheaper and more profitable to print comics. The result? They'll supply more at every single price. The curve shifts to the right. All right, I'm with you. Supply goes up with price, and other things can shift it, I get it. But you still haven't told me why my comic book cost exactly what it did. What's the final answer? You are absolutely right. Because to find the price, you need both sides of the coin. Supply is only half the story. Now, we need to introduce its partner, demand. You see, the market is always pushing and pulling, trying to find a balance point. Check this out. At 5 rupees, the store is happy to supply 31 comics. But buyers only want 6 at that high price. That's a surplus. Comics are piling up on the shelf. That's going to force the price down. Now look at the bottom. At just 1 rupee, people want 31 comics, but the store only wants to supply 6. That's a shortage, and it'll drive the price right back up. But there's one magic price, one sweet spot where the amount people want to buy is exactly the same as the amount sellers want to sell. When you draw it on a graph, it's where those two curves, supply and demand, intersect. We call that the equilibrium. It's the market clearing price where everyone is happy. No leftovers, no one going home empty-handed. So for my comic, the equilibrium price is 3 rupees. That's the point where the quantity supplied is 19 and the quantity demanded is also 19. Wow, okay, it all clicks now. You absolutely got it. That's perfect. Okay, so let's do a super quick rundown of the main points for everyone. First, remember that supply is all about how much producers are willing and able to sell. And the law of supply is easy. Higher price means higher quantity supplied. It's all about that profit incentive. But don't forget, things like costs and tech can shift the entire curve, changing the whole game. And finally, that magic point, equilibrium, is where supply meets demand to give us our final market price. So, now that you get how it works, here's a little something to chew on. How could one single invention, one new piece of technology, suddenly change the price of almost everything you buy? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer. Until next time, stay curious.